Yo, it's me, CSEOTT, and I'm back with you today to give you my review of the 1981 film, Welcome, American Werewolf in London. I saw that and I said, welcome. Stupid Scotty. American Werewolf in London. Now, this is my first time ever watching this film, but I've heard for years about the werewolf transformation scenes and how this is the greatest, one of, if not one of the greatest werewolf movies ever made. And I gotta tell you, after watching this, I agree. I think this movie was pretty good. It follows two hitchhikers going through, England. Their names are David and Jack. And one night, they visit this pub where they're told to stay on the road. They don't listen. And they attack on the moors. And Jack is killed and David is bitten. Or scratched or something. And of course, he is visited by his dead friend, who each time he visits is more and more decrepit looking. And the first time he visits, he's still got the blood and the scratches and stuff. And the next time, he's kind of gray and corpse. And then the last time we see him, it's a puppet, but he's like skeletal and stuff. It's really good. And yes, the Tom Cruise Mummy movie ripped it off. I would say paid homage to, but ripped it off. And anyway, Jack tells David that if he doesn't, he's got to kill himself by the next full moon, or he's going to become a werewolf. He doesn't do that. He doesn't listen. He doesn't believe it. He starts a relationship with this nurse, a really quick relationship too. She brings him home to her flat, right? And he's like, "Oh, there's only one bed in here," And she's like, "I'm going to take a shower." And then the next thing you see, they're in the shower together, and then they fucking. If I have to criticize one thing in this, that this sex scene was not very good. It's very meh for a sex scene, especially in an 80s film. And yes, this was the early 80s, but come on. Anyway, so they have some sort of relationship. He's staying with her in her flat while she goes out, to work. He ends up getting locked out and goes through the window, and then we get the montage set to "I see a bad moon rising." I was waiting for it too because I knew that song was in here. That blue moon, you left me standing alone. I see bad moon rising. There's a theme here, I think, just a little bit. This movie was directed by John Landis. And you can tell, it's definitely a John Landis film. If you've seen Blues Brothers or even Animal House, you know what kind of film you get into. This is very toned down in the comedy area, but there is some comedy in it. Especially the ending makes you feel like you've just watched a John Landis film. But we'll get to that. So basically, after the Bad Moon Rising scene, we get the transformation scene, which is awesome. It's a little drawn out, but I think you kind of have to, but it's awesome. And we find out, he attacks a guy in the subway. You find out that he killed a bunch of people. He wakes up in the zoo, and then, he comes back to the flat. He meets up with the nurse, whose name Miss Price, I don't know. And he's a little more, wascally and everything. And so then she decides to take him to the hospital to see her boss, who went to the pub and was told by one of the people there, "Hey, he's a werewolf, you gotta do something about it." But he still doesn't fully believe that he's a werewolf, at least not till the end. But he believes that David believes he's a werewolf, like it's some kind of hysteria type thing. Before the transformation, he gets another visit from, after he has the bad sex scene, he gets another visit from Jack, and then he gets to the third visit a little bit later. But after this, they're walking through, and he finds out about the murders, and he runs off. And he ends up, he sees Jack outside. He ends up in Piccadilly Circus, and he sees Jack outside a porno theater. I didn't know where he was at first. When he went in, and I heard, I'm like, are they in a porno theater? And yep, sure enough, it was. Even the porno movie has a John Landis comedy thing in it where they're doing it. Some guy walks in, hey, I thought I told you to stop this, and he's like, you never. And the guy that was having sex with the woman goes, you never told me. You told me no such thing. And he goes, I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to her. I've never seen you before in my life. Oh, never mind. And he leaves. Oh, man. I was just like, what? And then we get a very serious scene after this where Jack, now almost skeleton-like, shows him all the victims that he murdered the night before. And they explain that when a werewolf kills someone, they're not dead, they're undead. They stay in limbo until the werewolf is killed. I kind of like that, because you always wonder, are they victims, they're just dead. Does something happen to them? And now, in this, at least in this lore, that, their souls stay in limbo until the werewolf is killed. And there's another funny scene, because they start coming up with ways to kill him. Oh, you can hang yourself? No, he's not hanging himself. It's too much. But I'm his friend. And they're like, how about a knife? A gun! Don't you need a silver bullet? Don't be silly now. Shoot yourself in the head. Or shoot yourself in the... Put the gun in your mouth and you won't miss. And it's funny, but then it gets real serious as now the... I forget her name. Does it say? No, but the character... She's the mom from Child's Play 2. But, Nurse Price, I'm going to say it, call her that. Nurse Price shows up with a bunch of people. She tries to tell him, David, because he turns into the werewolf in the middle of this porno theater. And that's also kind of funny, because he feels it happening. He looks over, and there's a guy standing there going like this. And he's like, go away. Get out of here. Run. And then he turns into the werewolf. It's just like, just so matter of fact that he starts going, in the middle of a porno theater, and the guy's just standing there. And he's like, go away! Anyway, he turns a werewolf, kills the people that's in the porno theater. He escapes. Eventually, Nurse Price and a few others and the head doctor find him. And she tries to talk to the werewolf to say, David, I love you. Please don't do this. He lunges for her, so he gets shot. And we see a couple shots of the dead body, and then... Ball, bang, 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 bing, a dang, a ding, a dong, ding, ding, a dong, a ding, a dong, ding, blue moon, you left me standing alone. I'm not kidding. It just cuts. It felt like I was watching a Happy Days episode or something, you know what I mean? And I'm like, that's John Landis, though. John Landis, he's done horror, but this is a very John Landis movie. It's got his horror side and his comedy side all in one. I love the Blues Brothers. I love Animal House, even though I haven't seen it for a long time. This might be John Landis' best film to me. And let's talk about the special effects. Rick Baker was supposed to do the special effects on The Howling, which came out the same year, and I already reviewed that. But he dropped out to do this film. And I think he made a good choice. The effects in this film are fantastic. We also have Frank Oz in a cameo. And... I think about it, and he's in there. Oh, he's in the Blues Brothers, too. Wait, John Landis directed that, too. Okay, I get it. There's a connection there. This movie's fantastic. I've been doing this quite a few times. I don't normally do this, but this year has been so good with films that I've watched. At least this year in Halloween and stuff. So I'm giving American Werewolf in London a 10 out of 10. Yes, sir. So what are your thoughts on American Werewolf in London? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I've been Scotty. We'll see you in the next one.